Yana stopped at the entrance to her restaurant, admiring the sign, Golden Spoon. 3 years ago it was just a dream, and now it is a successful establishment in the very center of the city. She straightened her black dress and went inside, where the waiters were already preparing for the evening influx of guests. "Good evening, Yana Mikhailovna," the administrator Sergey greeted her. "Today is fully loaded, all tables are booked." Yana nodded with satisfaction. At 34, she finally found what she dreamed of all her life, her own business and a happy family. Her second husband Andrei fully supported her endeavor, unlike her first. Memories of her first marriage still left a bitter aftertaste. For 7 years she tolerated Denis's betrayals, his neglect and constant humiliation. When she talked about wanting to open a restaurant, he only laughed. "You don't know how to do anything except cook pasta." The divorce was a liberation, albeit a painful one. "Yana Mikhailovna, we have a large group coming to visit. They are asking for the best table," said the waiter Maxim. "Show them to table number 5 near the window," Yana ordered and headed to the bar to check how things were going. At the bar, she was discussing new items on the wine list with the bartender, when she heard a familiar waitress's voice. "Hey, girl in black." Yana turned around and froze. At table number 5, Denis was sitting with some red-haired woman in a bright red dress. He was waving his hand in her direction, clearly not recognizing her. "Waitress, bring us some wine and oysters." "Ha ha," he mocked, turning to his companion. "Look at the people working here. The salaries are probably pennies." The red-haired woman giggled. "Denis, you are so angry. But I like it when you command." Yana felt a pang inside, but she decided to play the role to the end. She took a notepad and approached the table. "Welcome to our restaurant. What would you like to order?" she said in the most neutral tone possible. "Oh, finally." Denis did not even look up. "2 glasses of your best red wine and a dozen oysters, and hurry up, we are in a hurry." Quote, "Anything else?" Yana asked, making notes in the notepad. "That's all for now. And make sure the wine is not sour, otherwise the last place brought us some kind of swill," Denis added dismissively. I nodded and walked away from the table. Everything inside her was boiling. She remembered all the humiliations she had to endure in her marriage to this man. How he said that she would never achieve anything, how he laughed at her dreams, how he cheated on her with her own friend. Approaching the bar, Yana pretended to give the order, but in fact she didn't say anything to barman. She decided to wait a bit and see how the situation would develop. After 20 minutes, Denis started to get nervous. "Where is our order?" he asked loudly, looking around. Yana approached the table. "Sorry for the delay, the wine will be brought now." "Now? We've been waiting for half an hour. What's going on in the kitchen?" "Everything is being prepared, don't worry," Yana answered calmly. Another 10 minutes later, she took a tray with 2 glasses of wine and headed for the table. Coming closer, Yana accidentally tripped and spilled half a glass right on the red dress of Denis's companion. "Oh, how clumsy I am," Yana exclaimed, feigning horror. "Excuse me, please." The red-haired woman jumped up from her seat. "What are you doing?" Quote, "This dress costs more than your monthly salary." "I'm really very sorry," Yana continued to play the role. "I'll bring some napkins now." Denis turned purple with anger. "What kind of establishment is this? Where is your manager?" "Call the management immediately." "Of course, I'll call them now." Yana nodded and walked away from the table. A few minutes later she returned, but without the apron of a waitress. She was wearing an elegant black dress, her hair was neatly styled, and a diamond wedding ring sparkled on her hand. Quote, "Good evening," she said, approaching the table. "I am the owner of the restaurant Zolotaya Loshka. Do you have any complaints?" Quote. Dennis looked up, and his face turned white as a sheet. His jaw dropped, his eyes widened in shock. He began, but Yana interrupted him. "Allow me to introduce myself. Yana Mikhailovna Sokolova, the owner of this establishment. It seems that you are dissatisfied with the service." Quote. Dennis opened and closed his mouth like a fish on dry land. His companion looked at him and then at Yana in confusion. "Dennis, you know her, right?" the red-haired girl asked. Yana? The ex-husband finally squeezed out of himself. "But how?" Yana asked coldly. "Incapable of anything except pasta? I'll never achieve anything. That's what you said, if my memory serves me right." Dennis tried to pull himself together. "Listen, it's all in the past. Let's not do it. Yana raised an eyebrow. "And you're not going to come to my restaurant and be rude to my employees. I'm not going to tell everyone present what kind of husband you were and what you did in our marriage." Curious glances began to creep across the room. Visitors at the neighboring tables began to listen in on the conversation. "Yana, why are you doing this?" Dennis tried. "Why me? That I opened a successful business that brings in good profits? Married a man who respects and supports me. Became independent and self-sufficient." The red-haired woman understood everything. "Dennis, this is your ex-wife. The one who, according to you, was a worthless housewife." "Tina, not now," Dennis whispered. "Very much so now," Yana intervened. "I'm sure he told you what I was like, bad wife. I just forgot to mention that he cheated on me with my best friend, and then with her sister." Tina looked at Dennis with disgust. "Is that true?" Dennis couldn't find what to say. He sat there red with shame and couldn't raise his eyes. "And now," Yana continued, "I'm going to ask you to leave my restaurant. The administrator will show you to the exit. We won't charge you for the spoiled wine. Consider it a keepsake." She waved her hand at the administrator Sergey, who immediately headed to the table. And Yana added, leaning towards Dennis, "Next time, before you laugh at the waiters, think about whether one of them might be the owner of the establishment." Dennis and Tina got up from the table. He was still unable to recover from the shock, and she was glaring at him. "Goodbye," Yana said with a smile. "And don't come again." Quote. When the ex-husband and his companion left the restaurant, silence fell in the hall, which was broken by applause. The visitors appreciated the worthy rebuff to rudeness. Yana straightened up and looked around her restaurant. Here it was, a real triumph of justice. There was no need to stoop to his level. It was enough to simply show what she had achieved, despite all his predictions. Administrator Sergey approached her. "Yana Mikhailovna, can I ask you a question? Were you really married to this guy?" "Unfortunately, yes, but it was a long time ago and it was not true," she answered with a smile. The evening continued as usual. The visitors enjoyed dinner, the waiters worked, and Yana felt a special satisfaction. Finally, she was able to put an end to her relationship with the past. Now Dennis saw with his own eyes who she had become and understood what kind of woman he had lost because of his stupidity and arrogance. Yana returned home with a light heart. Andrei met her at the door with a bouquet of white roses. "How are things in the restaurant?" he asked, kissing his wife. "Everything is great," Yana replied. "Even better than usual. Thank you for listening to the end." If you found the story interesting, subscribe to the channel and like it so you don't miss new videos.